Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to preview round 5 of the 2025 NRL Fantasy season. So as usual, when we do our round preview, we're going to look at the most popular trade-ins and trade-outs thanks to footystatistics.com or NRLFantasyStats.com, they also go by. So on the Who's Hot list, we'll start with number 1, Tom Jenkins. So we traded in last week and very happy with the outcome there. So I think he has a bit more job security, particularly with Brian Tyre out, and just probably ends up being the number 1 choice in the centres there anyway. So I think he's one you can bring in with confidence and play. So Tom Jenkins, bring him in. Dylan Egan, yep, definitely agree with this one too. Looked pretty good on the weekend. Playing a bit of a hybrid role, bit of time through the middle, bit of time on the edge, spelling Luciano Leilua. And with, not Sele, Gula, Emery Gula, out for about 3 weeks, suspended. I think he has a bit of a run in the team, so I think you can bring him in. Kidiana Katoga at number 3. Looks pretty good on the weekend. Another one I brought in last week, so bit ahead of the curve there in that sense, but the drill position, the cheap price, the break even, all things point to if you didn't get him in, bring him in this week. Nafahu White's an interesting one. I guess the upside is the Roosters do have a really good run through Origin, and I think it's fair to say that Nafahu White's probably not much of a chance of featuring in that. So he will be a really useful number during that time. I guess the one thing with NRL Fantasy in particular is even on those bye weeks where there's only 3 teams on bye, it will still just be best 13. So not an urgent trade in and must play, but I guess if there's a couple of options that you're looking to trade out, I haven't actually looked at his price too closely if I'm being honest. So I'll have a quick look now. I always say that, and these websites are always so slow when I try to record the videos. Need to be a bit more prepared. But 575, priced at 43, averaging 56. So that suggests there is a bit of increase still to come. But in saying that, the Roosters forward pack is a lot more bolstered this week. Nat Butcher's back in the starting team. Connor Watson's back this week. They're really only missing Victor Radley. So I think, the 60s over the past 2 weeks won't continue. Maybe closer to a 50 is what's to be expected. And obviously price at 43, there is a bit of value there. So a decent trade-in, but not an essential trade-in. Maybe more of a luxury upgrade potentially for a mid-pricer that hasn't fired. Jaden Campbell, yeah, if I had the money, I'd be bringing him in this week, but haven't quite got there yet. I think the hope is if we can get another cheapie in the next week or two, that he'll be a welcome upgrade to my squad. Thomas Cant, don't know if I like this one. He is priced at 500k. It's a lot of money to bring in for someone who we're not sure on the job security. Kai Pearce-Paul could come back next week and take his spot. He could potentially keep the spot if Frizzell moves back into the middle. It's a bit risky for me, but I'm not smashing it by any stretch in this competition. So he looked good on the first game. Hopefully he can replicate it this week. Fletcher Sharp's an interesting one. I guess maybe a poor man's Jaden Campbell in the sense. I just think with the fixture against the Bulldogs, I don't know if the upside is there. I haven't looked too deeply at his work rate. I might try and open it in a new tab so it loads a bit quicker. No, it still takes time. We'll have a look in a minute. Hubner, obviously back from suspension, I think is a good option. I've got him in my squad. Very happy with that. CY Wong, so I guess copy and paste what we said with Nafahu White, maybe a bit cheaper. Don't know if he gets middle status. I think he's been named too much on the edge. So if he was getting dual position, he might be a bit more of a value option. And I guess there is still the opportunity through the year for that to occur. So, um, yeah, don't hate it. I have had him in my team in previous iterations. Um, Ended up going without him to start the season. Maybe a mistake. The next two, Payne Haas, Terrell May. If you've got the cash, bring them in. Still no update on Fletcher Sharp. One day. Alex Seyfarth scored well on the weekend, so yeah, I suppose. Probably prefer Nafahu White for the buy coverage, but I think Seyfarth may be a bit cheaper. Stafford Tower, I guess, yeah, if you haven't got him in, he's still going to make some money. Riley Smith, with the news that he's going to start this week, looks like he's going to get some better minutes. So, yeah, if you're looking for a downgrade hooker, I like it. I brought him in early, hoping this would happen, and that sort of has come to fruition, which is nice. And Toby Couchman, should get some good minutes again. Um, yeah, I mean, as a point of difference in the middle, or I guess if you want to use him on the edge, don't hate it. Still no Fletcher Sharp. I'm giving up on that. On the not list, Tom Gilbert. I don't understand this one. He's only suspended for a week. I did see a few people suggest that he played on the edge and he's not as useful on the edge. Um, I didn't see the game, so I can't comment on that. But I think he is, one of those players that, he has a good point per minute. Um, so yeah, I'm going to give him another chance. Obviously, not ideal that we can't use him this week, um, but yeah, I'll wait and see. Isaiah Yongi. So again, a few people getting out of the pick, and I was very tempted to upgrade. I think if I had the money to go straight to a Jaden Campbell, that I probably wouldn't think twice. But I think if we can be patient and wait a couple of weeks, and Mitchell Moses comes back, that's when he is going to elevate in price. So I'm going to try and hold that long and see if it pays off. But I might be proven wrong. Tom Duffy, yeah, Jake Clifford, I think, has just nailed himself on the 7 jersey, so Tom Duffy can go. Tom Travojevic, injured, a lot of money sitting on the pine, he can go. Sandon Smith, I guess, sort of has leveled out in price, has made 130k in cash, and I guess to spoil the upcoming trades, he is leaving my team, so I understand that pick. Jerome Luai suspended, losing value, not really fantasy relevant. Yeah, can go. Satili Tupanua suspended. I guess you could move on. Hasn't really worked out if you brought him in. Luke Metcalf and Mitchell Barnett on the bye, so a few people moving on there. They are only on the bye for 1 week, so unless you're really not happy with them, they've obviously the Warriors haven't gone the best, but they are winning. So that only suggests that there's room for improvement. And I'm hoping that I'll still have those guys when that happens. Dylan Lucas, not sure on the update around his hamstring. I've heard a couple of different reports, haven't confirmed anything. So I suppose it is a lot of money sitting on the bench for an unknown amount of time. So can move off of him. Yeah, Jack Bird played on the edge as a bit of cover for Adam Dewey. That's always the sort of threat with Jack Bird. If they need edge cover, he'll go out there. If not, he'll play a few minutes through the middle. So he can go. The Fish on the bye. So a bit like these other guys, it's only 1 week. Surely you can hold. Unless he is your sort of pathway to a Haas or a Terrell May. Okay, cool. If not, hold. Jordan Ricky, I'm pretty sure it's only 1 week, so I'd just hold if you've got him. Not a fan of him in fantasy or super coach or anything, but I guess enough people have had him that he's on the who's not list. Jack Howarth, so yeah, not too sure. I wouldn't have picked him at the start anyway, but maybe a few people are getting wise to that and getting off. Um, okay, cool. And Scott Sorensen, not too sure what his story is, to be honest. I haven't really looked at him too closely, so okay, trade him out. So yeah, in terms of my moves this week, this is preloaded because it does take forever. Only the one trade this week, so I did talk about this one in the round review. Sandon Smith done his job for us, made 130k. We will bank that and at least bank 120k of it and trade to Dylan Egan. So should make a bit of coin, offer some good minutes off the bench, definitely playable. So yeah, one trade there. Does mean we've got 300k sitting in the bank, but as I said, if I could get to Jaden Campbell, I would. But I think Yongi is about 100k short of that at the moment. Um, and other than that, a lot of the rookies are still making their cash. We're not trading keepers like a Barnett or a Gilbert. We have as a sort of useful option, not necessarily a keeper. But want to have a bit more of a look before I commit to trading him out. Metcalf, I think, still got some money to make, so I'm not going to trade him out. Although Campbell does cover the halves, which is interesting. Don't know if I can do it. No, I think Metcalf's still got a bit of meat on the bone, so keep the faith. So obviously Campbell's scoring well. We do want him in the team, but we don't necessarily need to rip apart our plan to make it happen. So one trade this week, save a trade. They'll come in handy later in the season as well. So how the team will line up this week, you can sort of already work out from there. But we'll bring the team view on. It's a bit nicer. So that takes forever to load. And now I've just reset it. It's going to take even longer. There we go. So Ellis going well. Keep him at hooker. The big three in the middle. Love to see it. So Ian, just brought him in just because he plays a bit earlier in the week. And Kaltoga also covers the centres as well. So just having him on the bench means that if I need to, I can access my 18th man a bit easier. Humphreys clearing the halves, nothing new there. Toa and Toya, easy for you to say. In the centre, still making some good money, so we're happy with them. Kalen Ponga back from the bye. Nwangani Tawasi gets another run at wing fullback. And Tommy Jenkins locked in. Should go well against the Cowboys. And so then the bench, so Hubner, Kaltoga, we're always going to sort of play with the news that he's starting. I'm happy to go with Riley Smith. So this week we can loop Cole's score Friday night against the Cowboys. Obviously with Cleary back, it may limit his upside. We're definitely not expecting a 66-point return. But obviously if he does flop, we can swing Iongi in there in plenty of time for Saturday afternoon's game. So that's the plan this week. Captain, vice captain, we're just going safe this week. Payne Haas captain, Terrell May vice captain. They play each other late in the round, so it should work out. So that's really it. So we'll wrap the video up there. If there's any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the fantasy content, NRL Fantasy that is. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel, all the different sports, all the different platforms that we do. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.